Welcome to Romera Records Virtual Cast. Today we have on Rick. How's it going, man?
It's going great, man. Thank you for having me, Jackson.
It's great to have you on. So I found you from Pod Match, and basically I just saw what you're doing, and I just wanted to give you a chance to talk about it and give people a little insight on your life and how you started and how you got to where you're at right now. So go ahead.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. I start off with telling everybody I started out in martial arts at the age of 4. June 27th, 1972, I started my very first class. That's when my folks enrolled me on my 4th birthday, just because of anger issues I had as a kid. Growing up on a city block in South Philly, always getting into trouble, always getting into fights. But I remember really, my childhood most is really on my very first day. I mean, at 4, and I'm 55 now. There's a lot of things that I've lost memory. I got TBI, which is traumatic brain injury, and that's just from a lot of blows to the dome, playing football, martial arts, fights, everything. And as I'm getting older, I'm noticing the signs progress a little bit. They wanted me on meds. I'm anti-meds. I do take ibuprofen for pain, but I don't know. Big pharma, I just kind of have my concerns about it as well. But yeah, like I said, I started out in martial arts just because of the anger issues I had, and that was the base, my foundation of basically, my existence today, being alive and still not in prison. I mean, I did a few stretches as a juvenile, and then as an adult, I did over 5 years. That was something I definitely knew I didn't want to be in anymore and be a part of. So again, I just got into my self mastery, how to make myself a better Rick, and it went through a lot of trials and tribulations because of a lot of people don't know what their purpose in life is or even care. And really, it wasn't like I was searching for it, but I was living it.
Mm.
God was preparing me for the man I am today. And honestly, I probably didn't find out what my purpose was until about maybe 7 years ago, maybe even shorter than that. That was to help other individuals through my experience in life. Like I said, having anger issues, being in prison, different people that I was associated with, losing my firstborn, and just wanting to be the best version of myself led me to who I am today. So I have a saying which came from my coach is create the man that you want to be to give that man away. Give that
Mm-hmm.
person away. Pass it on. Be selfless, not selfish. And again, I am a very selfless person. I used to have the biggest ego in the world. And when I learned to let that go and be selfless and give myself away to other individuals, because at the age of 55, let's keep it real. How much longer do I have? I hope another lifetime. But at the same point in time, I'm just being a realist as well. In the time I have left on this earth, I'm going to make the biggest impact as possible that I can on other individuals. And I started with the youngsters, different rehab facilities. I would go to treatment centers, juvenile detention centers, prisons. I would go there and talk to somebody like myself, blasted from head to toe, totally tatted. I can talk the talk. I can walk the walk. I can talk to Mr. Rogers and I can talk to the president. It doesn't matter. I just keep it real. And that's what it comes down to is being real to yourself and not really worrying about what society expects of you. Why live your life that way? I love my life. I love my tattoos. I have no regrets at all. Even if we go back to talking about my prison, I have no regrets. The only regret I might have, honestly, Jackson, is maybe how I raised my children. How I raised my children, because there's a fine line from being a friend to being a father, and your weakness is their way out. And as we get older, we learn more about these things. But growing up in the 70s, it was a different era. It really was. I mean, still mothers were smoking as they were pregnant with their children. They still do it to this day. I still see it. But again, it was a different era.
Mm.
And if I could rewind the hands of time, I probably would do a few things different as a father. I know I was a good provider, and I know I was the best father that I was at that time. But now, fast forward it, I know I could have been better.
I'm sure there's a ton of lessons that you have learned over the years of just having all these experiences. But what's something that you feel like definitely was like a turning point in your life where you're like, this is it. You know, this I've got to do better. I've got to change my ways.
Alcohol.
Mm.
I was an alcoholic, and I say was. And once an alcoholic, supposedly always an alcoholic, whatever the case may be. I was an alcoholic, maybe still am. I just know I can't drink.
Mm.
That was mine. And I'm not saying I haven't experimented with other vices out there. I mean, the only thing I never did was stick a needle in my vein.
Hmm.
I probably experimented with everything else. Okay. Alcohol got a grip on me to the point where I wasn't a functional alcoholic anymore. I was the defunctional alcoholic. I hit rock bottom. That's when I knew it was time to check myself. And I was in my 50s when I went to my very first treatment center. And I wish I did it decades previous. And I'm talking to people that are, kids that are there to basically satisfy the judicial system, the probation or parole officers. I mean, I was in West Palm Beach, and this place was, I mean, it was beautiful, but they didn't make it easy on you. I mean, you had to go to classes from 8 to 4:30 every single day, attend meetings. You had to put in the work. But again, I did my time. My time didn't do me. I wanted to go in there and learn as much as possible. And I dug in deep and I found out a lot about myself. And I found out a lot of what I wasn't, things that I was accused of being in the past: a sociopath, a manic depressant, a narcissist, things that we're all labeled, that we all have certain traits of those characteristics, but you're not a full blown narcissist or manic depressant or bipolar. But without learning about yourself, how are you supposed to teach others? And that was the thing. I really got into solitude. I found out a lot about myself. And when I got out of treatment, I separated myself from the world. I really just stayed secluded in my school and really didn't hold any classes. And I walked around. It's a big ballpark around here, and they have baseball fields, miniature major leagues. And my whole thing was, I just want to find one baseball that a kid knocked over or foul ball, or I got thousands of baseballs. I got to figure out how to sell them. I'll make money. But it was putting my earbuds in, listening to something positive, and spending time with myself, hours on a daily basis, figuring it out. You got to figure it out. And you got to know you before you know anyone else. And that's when it opened up and really shed light, because I've always my whole life been helping people through martial arts, okay, with different businesses that I've owned, but I didn't truly embrace the meaning of it. I still had an ego. I was still selfish. And again, when it comes down to drugs and alcohol, that is very selfish. When you take over that drug or that drink over your family and your friends and your work and your obligations as a man to be responsible, you're screwed. You're fucked. Bottom line, and excuse my French, but you are. Let's keep it real. Those cats on Friday, Saturday night with their buddies playing grab ass in the bar, man, if they could just see a video of themselves, they would look at them and really realize that they're being jackasses. What are you doing? You should be with the people that you really love and who really loves you. I said that to my son a lot. I told him, you don't understand. We got to make you better for the simple fact that you're killing the rest of us as well. The unknown factor of going out on binges and being gone 2 to 3 weeks. The unknown is sometimes worse than the known, because you never know what you're gonna get locked up. Are you gonna, be found dead, or are you just on a sick one? And that went on for over a decade, and finally, his addiction got him. He got some bad dope and OD'd.
Mm.
And the kid was amazing. He was amazing. 6'6", 257 pounds, Jackson. And he was a monster. I mean, UFC was looking at him. He could have done anything that he wanted. He had model good looks, smart young man. but the drugs got them. And again, it's a selfish thing, which I do understand that individuals can't get a grip of and understand, but there is a cure to it. It's not cancer. It's not something that, is incurable. As long as you have that will and that fight inside you, you can beat anything you want in life. And I truly believe the mind can beat, terminal illness as well. I really believe that wholeheartedly. And that's why I try to stay as positive as possible on an hourly basis. Because of as humans, I believe God made us inherently negative when we wake up. So we could just get done. Because if we woke up complacent and comfortable and happy, we would just sit back and just enjoy life and nothing would get done.
Yeah.
Waking up negative, you have to accomplish something. And what I teach my members, my clients, the people that I'm with, is have non-negotiable tasks. From the time you wake up until your head hits that pillow, your day should be packed full of non-negotiable tasks. And when you complete them, add another one on. Complete that, add another one on. And add them until, again, you were doing nothing but positive things throughout the whole day. I wake up at 2:30 a.m. every single day, Monday through Sunday, not a day off at all. Now, people say, what time do you go to bed? Well, I'd like to get to bed around 8, 9, sometimes earlier. But there's a lot of times I'm making phone calls to my clients out of state that I'm up to 10:30, 11, 12 at midnight. Regardless, I'm up at 2:30 a.m. People ask me, do you take naps? I said, men don't nap. We meditate. Now, I might meditate for about an hour and a half, okay? But I don't nap. Men don't nap. We meditate.
Oh, I'm taking that one. That is very a very good way to look at things, to realize like, hey, let me fill my day with all these positive actions so that I'm making sure I get stuff done, and so that I'm not allowing myself to dwell on maybe some past pains that I've been through or and stuff like that. Let me continuously keep my mind running, because what does it say? It's like an idle mind's the devil's playground. Like you want to keep doing things so that your body and your mind are constantly running, and as you said, make sure it's positive things.
Oh yeah, I tell people all the time. Boredom leads into desires. Desires lead into vices. Vices lead into addictions. And you can never negate a negative thought with a positive thought. The only way that you can negate a negative thought is by a positive action. And if all else fails, hit the floor, crank out 25 to 50 push-ups, hit that reset button, and get to work, man. Open up that book, daily task. You have your affirmations. You have your journaling. You get into a positive book. And then at the end of the day, you rinse and repeat the next. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Add more on. Reevaluate it. Make adjustments. But again, you got to stay in that PMA, positive mental attitude, all day. That's what I say, PMA all day, because of once you get into, I call it the sensory world, and you're at a flow state, that's when things get real, man. You start worrying about bills. You start worrying about shit that you have no control over. Okay, it's going to happen regardless of you being positive or negative about it. The outcome's already there, basically. So what are you doing, driving yourself crazy? And people do it all the time. The more positive you are, you feel it. You walk into a room and it's positive, man. You feel the vibes right away. You're like, yeah, I'm into it. Or you walk into that room where it's negative. You see it. It drains you. Like I hit my wall literally like around 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, because I just got to get to that higher vibration, that higher level, that higher frequency. When people are down, when my clients are down, I got to now work twice as hard, because they're draining me of my positive energy and they're giving me their negative. And I'm like, all right, we got to balance this out. And that's what I mean, a higher frequency. If you ever look at the frequency chart itself, It shows you like peacefulness, love, joy, gratitude. That will take you to a higher level. Now, again, anger, sorrow, things of that nature will bring you down to a lower grade. So, again, it's just a matter of your mindset. Your mindset is everything. How you outlook it. I mean, you can make something positive or negative. Why not make it positive? Because then the other is being negative. Who wants to be negative? I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So, what are some things like when you're helping people out, whether it's with their mental or physical fitness, that they seem like they struggle with this more often than anything? What's a common thing that you usually see?
Waking up early.
Mm.
Waking up early. Why I'm so adamant about waking up early? A few different things. First and foremost, that is one of the greatest gratitude forms of gratitude that you can give to your creator is getting out of that comfortable warm bed. Maybe you're with your significant other, whatever, and no one wants to do that, so you're getting out and right away you're getting into positive action. But the fact of the matter is, as adults, we get a lot that's put on our plate. Now, if you have a family, you have kids, you don't work your typical 8 to 4, 9 to 5 job, you're constantly doing tasks in the afternoon. So if you don't get your workout done in the morning, there's a good chance you're probably not going to get it done at all
Mm.
because something in life is going to get in the way. Your wife, your husband, somebody's going to call you. Can you go to Home Depot? Can you go to Walmart? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you start now, playing games in your mind where, well, I guess I got to do this instead of going to the gym. Well, you could have probably made time to go to the gym, but now you're just like, I'm worn out for work. It was a bad day, possibly. Maybe it didn't go like you expected it. So this is what I'll do. And again, if you got kids, I mean, they come first. You got ball games to attend, concerts, recitals, wherever the case is. Johnny and Susie comes first. So again, these are things that if you get it done in the beginning of your day when everybody else is asleep, there's a good chance that you could stay on a good pattern where then the rest of your day is going to be successful as well.
Mm.
So number one is waking up, discipline. Jocko Willink has a saying, discipline will set you free.
Mm.
I agree. Discipline will set you free. I'm a big reader. Like all my, you'll see this is the Jocko Willink book. I do The Laws of Success, Napoleon Hill. He also has Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
These great books, man. Great books. And if you haven't read them in a while, reread them. I guarantee you're going to find a ton of stuff that you forgot, or again, you were out somewhere else. You were in left field, or your mind was occupied on something as you were reading it. I reread books all the time. I really do. And I always find a new gem in there that I write down. I got quote books, affirmation books. I'll get into those books on a weekly basis, especially when I need it. I put out my positive posts through Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to inspire people. I want them to see my movie every single day. It's like a reality TV show of what Rick is doing. They know I'm waking up. They know I'm accountable. I'm doing it 7 days a week. I don't miss. And they see what I do throughout my day. And again, it's pretty fucking awesome. I enjoy it.
Mm.
A lot of people are like, well, your life is just a gym. You go out to eat once in a while on vacations. I'm like, well, what else is there to do? What do you want me to show you? The bar? I mean, that's not going to happen. I don't go to bars. I stay away from it. And it's just because I don't need it.
Yeah.
And for those that do, I'm not downing you. But I just believe you're hiding from something or you're trying to fulfill something in your life with that. I mean, there's other places that you can go to. And unfortunately, that's where people go a lot of times to meet other, significant others or, you know, whatever, dating.
Mm.
But, it's funny when you get that female and she's mad that her husband's a drunk. Well, where'd you meet him at? Well, we met at this bar. What do you think was going to happen? You met him at a bar, right? You met him at a bar, man. It's like, and you hear it all the time. Yeah, he's a drunk. Okay, well, if you don't want me asking where you met him, oh, I met him at that bar. Yeah, okay. Einstein.
Got to meet them under the bar at the gym.
There you go. I love it. That's it. I'll use that one, Jackson. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so something that you were talking about, I think is pretty wild is just that like people's mentality of how they attack their problems. It's like, hey, you aren't even paying attention to how you got into this problem. You're just thinking about the problem itself, but what about how it happened? Because you can prevent your other issues from happening just by acknowledging how that one issue happened. So being present and being understanding and brutally honest with who you are and what you're doing is very crucial. Do you have to end up working with people who just don't understand their own issues, or they just don't understand what's going
All
on?
the time. All the time. And I'm pretty hardcore with my clients. I don't make it mandatory. I mean, we do our weekly Zoom calls, so I have an accountability group. So we're a big community. We're a family, and we keep each other accountable as well. But I do roll call, something that we did in prison. So I want to make sure everybody's up.
Hmm.
So non-negotiable, and again, they don't have to participate if they don't want. But understand this: I'm going to be throwing roll call out typically at 2:45, 3 o'clock a.m. Okay, roll call comes out, man, and now they make it a game. Who can answer me quicker? And I'm like, oh no, 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 don't answer me and go back to bed till 4:30 or 5.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be on you, which I figured that out real quick. But again, I want to know what time they wake up every single day. Even days they are not in the gym. As soon as you wake up, because you can't tell me the majority of the population don't pick up the phones anymore. Everybody they use it for an alarm clock. They're hitting it for the snooze button. Well, don't hit that snooze. Wake up and say up.
Mm.
Real simple. I mean, that's if you can't tell me you can't do that. I mean, that is a non-negotiable task. And they do. And I've had some people where I start see, they're saying they're up at 4:35 a.m. every day. Then the weekend rolls around. Now I'm getting it at 11 a.m. Now I'm getting it at 12 noon. Some 2 p.m. Well, then I want to know what's going on. What's happening? Did you go out? Did you tie one on? Did you have an argument? Did you sleep on the couch? What's going on in your life right now that you're hitting me up at this time opposed to the other days when you're hitting me at the time that is understandable?
Mm.
So again, you got to get into the problems. And a lot of people they just walk through life aimlessly. They really do. They don't have a clue. They don't have a blueprint of their life.
Mm.
And that's sad. But that keeps me in business too, Jackson. So, I mean, we don't need more of them, but I do. And again, it's just I I I grew up with a very structured life, and it wasn't a tough structured life. It was just something through martial arts that I got accustomed of doing, and I've always was an early riser. So waking up early to me is just it's a way of life. It's a way of life. Now, I will tell you, waking up at 2:30 a.m. I don't know how people really get through their day without waking up, about the same time or at least 5 o'clock. If you're past 5 or 6, now we're gonna have a talk. You know, 7 o'clock, what's going on? And I understand. I get it, but don't side with me. Enlighten me. That's all I want. Enlighten me. And that's all. If you come up with something that makes sense, I'm cool with it. I'm not gonna shark on you. But if you come up with some bunk ass bullshit, man, I'm on you hard. That's it. Now it's time to do some push-ups, man. I'm calling you out on the mats. We're getting down. We're doing it, and it's. I got a fun job. I love what I do. When you can match your why with your passion that meets your purpose, that's a recipe for success right there. I love waking up every morning and the start of my day. And some days it doesn't get easier. Sometimes it gets harder. But that makes me work even harder, which I love even more.
Mm.
Like the saying goes, get comfortable being uncomfortable
Yeah.
and embrace the suck.
Yeah.
The more comfortable it is, the more I like it. The more comfortable I become, the more complacent I get, and I don't like it. When I start feeling it, it's like I got to create chaos or something. It naturally happens to me, and it could be negative chaos, and that's not good. So that's why I try to fulfill my day with as much positive activities and different like I said, tasks that I have to accomplish, so I don't let anything negative creep in. It's very easy. It's very easy for the enemy to slip in.
Do you see like people that you work with as people who tend to come to you for just like improvement, or are these people who are just now starting to get in their lives in order, or is it kind of a mix of both, like people who might have been similar to your story?
Mix of both.
Okay.
Mix of both. And that's what I tell people. My cheapest program that I have three levels. Um, you got a low end ticket, medium, and a high end ticket program. My low end ticket is mindset and macros, where I get your mind right first and foremost, and I get your diet right.
Hmm.
Because what we ingest is who we are, and people don't realize we're molecules. You know what I mean? We're atoms. We're energy, and you put junk into that a body of yours, you're just going to produce junk. And
Mhm.
it has everything to do with the way you smell, to the way you look, to the way you act, to the way you perform. This is the food you eat. Now, hey, listen, I like Ben and Jerry's, I like pizza, I like wings. This is KC, Kansas City State right here. So I watched the Super Bowl. I had a few wings. I enjoy things. I enjoy life, but that's not every day.
Mhm.
So again, you got to get your mind right, because if your mind's not right, you're going to come into the gym and you're going to be all over the map. You're going to be in left field, right field, wherever. You're not going to be present. So we get your mind right, we get your diet right, and then we get you into the gym. Now they can either come to my gym, which is an invite only gym. So again, if you don't vibe with my tribe, then you're out.
Mhm.
You're gone. No hard feelings. You're just not ready for this yet, or you're just not. You're never going to be. Or my online services. So I'm a little bit of both. I would say I'm more so online just because I can reach more people throughout the United States than here in Branson, Missouri. Branson it's a weird town. It's a tourist town. So we go down to about 10,000 people in the slow months, which is going to be end of December, middle of March. Then by spring break, from spring break until the end of December, we have anywhere from 15 to 20 million tourists. So
Dang.
it's a lot, man. It's a lot. And from Tennessee, it's only about, I don't know, I would say maybe 8 hours,
Yeah, it's probably about
give or
6 to 8.
take, man. It's a good family. I call it the family town of, like, it's a Vegas for family. Good entertainment, good amusement parks, good people, just a good place. I mean, it was such a culture shock when I moved out here 14 years ago that I was going against the grain for about 2 years. And when I figured out that I wasn't going to go back because of the economy back in 2009, kind of, we went into that recession. I said, well, I might as well embrace it and make the best of it. Well, I created a life. I love it here. I mean, this is home for me. If I ever moved, I'd still have a house here, but I'd move somewhere warm. Maybe I'd go to like Thailand, Thailand or the Philippines. I love warm weather. I love the ocean. I'm not so thrilled about maybe a third world country, but you know, it's beautiful, beautiful place to be. Like I said, I love going to the Gulf Shores of Alabama, but I like it warm all year round. So that's on my task list. You know, and you can actually live out there fairly cheap.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. I got some buddies that were military. That I mean, they live like kings for under $2,000 a month.
Mm.
Everything, and they live like kings. So that's on my to-do list.
Now, on that topic of traveling, do you find yourself needing to, I guess have like a getaway every once in a while to kind of remove yourself from your work hard mentality?
I haven't in a while. Not to say that I don't want to, but Jackson, truly, I love what I do. I really love what I do. So it's not really work for me. I would still be working on vacation. doing something, I'd be in touch with my clients. I've always been that way. When I was in the mortgage industry back in the 2000s, early 2000s, I was always on my phone. Well, that back then it was the laptop, it wasn't phone wise. So I'm somebody that I enjoy work. I do. I enjoy it. I've had jobs that I didn't enjoy. That's why I pick and choose my battles. I would just get tattoos that would eliminate my job positions. You
Mhm.
get them on the face, they're like, "We can't hire you." I'm like, "Okay, good, yeah." You know, um, but yeah, I mean, I do like to take vacations. I do, and again, it's typically somewhere warm, but I still work when I'm on vacation. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a be active type of person on vacation. Like some people love like just being on the beach and being lazy, but I like to like go do stuff. I plan my vacations or for adventures.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you go?
So me and my wife, we have actually been to Vancouver. That was like one of the first places we went to when we were like really trying to travel and stuff like that, and that was amazing. Like Vancouver
Was it
was,
really
yeah, they've got tons of like mountains and just like lakes and all kinds of stuff. It's beautiful up there.
beautiful? Yeah.
Yeah, and
I've
then
heard that.
just traveling across like the country has been really cool. I think we've been to like 40 states or something like that.
Wow.
I've
It's
never been.
amazing.
Yeah, never been to like Alaska or Hawaii. Want to go to those eventually, but a lot of the you know contiguous states, it's really amazing having the like. I tell people all the time, if you live in America, you won the lottery because we have everything
Bingo.
you could possibly need.
We got everything, man. We're such spoiled brats. We really are. I mean, go to a third world country and look at it. I mean, wake up, America, man. We got it great. We got it great. And, you know, it's showing gratitude. Bottom line, man, just be thankful that you were born. I mean, what's the chances of that? I mean, statistically, and to be healthy, and alive is people take it for granted. And I think when you put it in perspective, people can kind of sit back and reflect and say, you know what, you're right. But we get so busy in our worlds that we forget about the good things, and we like to focus on the bad things, which is, it's common. It's common. It's human nature. But you have that choice to change it. Now, getting back to your traveling, have you ever been to like Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York?
Yeah, we went to well, I've been to New York for sure. I've got some friends that live up in Long Island and in the New York City area, and then been to Jersey. I actually I've got a friend who's a rapper in New York, and he was going to show up to another person's signing to Jim Jones's label. So we were in
Yeah,
New York, and
we're
then
going back.
yeah, and we were
Yeah, yeah.
traveling to Jersey, and I was like, when did we cross over? Like this all looks the same. I was like, oh, Jersey and New York very very similar when in certain spots, but and then Philly. I'm actually an Eagles fan. I
A man.
yeah, I've been in Alabama my whole life except for when I was in the military. I was in North Dakota, and then now I'm in Tennessee.
Thank
But
you for your service.
thank you. But yeah, I grew up, watching when I was in like 9 years old. I was a huge fan of like Brian Westbrook, Donovan McNabb, all
Yeah.
all those guys, and so yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm an Eagles fan. So yeah, I've been
That's
to.
crazy. That was funny because I was telling my clients coming in today, I said, the last football game that I watched was the Eagles and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Eagles lost. And the only game I watched this year was the first half of the Super Bowl last night.
Hmm.
And I was down in Kansas City. I really was. I mean, San Francisco was putting it on them. I
Yeah.
mean, it looked strong, and I mean, like I said, I'm not a huge football fan. I'm not. All my buddies growing up, they're diehard Eagles fans, and since you're an Eagles fan, you know that if you are not an Eagles fan and you're at the stadium, man, yeah, don't wear an opposing shirt at all. I mean, they built that stadium with cells in it, so
Hmm.
they actually have holding cells. I got so many buddies that just got kicked out for life. I mean, you talk about diehard fans. I mean, I can't go to those events. I can't. I mean, they're crazy. And
Yeah,
they bleed green. I mean, to this day, one of my best friends growing up, I mean, still to this day, is just he's not married, and I think it's because of the teams. You
mm,
know, I mean, he's a Phillies fan, an Eagles fan, a Flyers fan, Sixers fan, and for years, for decades, they disappointed us. And
yeah,
they finally came, you know, they came back and started winning some stuff. But that's funny that you're an Eagles fan.
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't, had the chance to be around a lot of Philly people, but what's that movie Invincible?
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah. What about De Niro? Is
And
it De Niro?
it's got Mark Wahlberg in it.
Marky Mark. Yeah.
He plays
Oh
that.
yeah. I mean, it's
Was it
Philly.
Vince Papali? That was that guy's name.
Yes, yes. Philly's Philly, man. Like what you see on commercials and what you see, it's Philly. I mean, it's. I ran security for nightclubs out in Philadelphia for 7 years,
Mm,
and I saw it all. And let me tell you, man, and I love Philadelphia. I really do. But they're crazy. You know, if no one's giving you a hard time, that means that they don't like you. If they're giving you a hard time, they love you.
yeah,
So when you go into like the pizzerias or the different delis in there, expect a hard time.
yeah,
You know, it's not they're not greeting you with a smile and a handshake. They're asking you what the fuck you want.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, forget about it. What do you want here? I mean, oh yeah, it's the real deal. And I miss the food. I
Mm,
miss the food. I can't find any of that out here in the Midwest.
yeah.
Like finding a good cheesesteak and even pizza. I mean, I eat now like Domino's, Papa John's, and all that. It's a lot different, especially in a tourist town. It's like I said, if you told me 20 years ago that I would be moving here, I would have said you're lying. There's no way. But like I said, I made it home. I again positive mindset. I made a situation that I thought was horrible, and it's something that I love now.
Yeah. I
And
think there's
I
something to
moved out here at the age of 42.
mm,
So I still had enough ants in my pants that I didn't think I was going to settle down because there's not much to do around here. We say, you know, work out, work, and Walmart. That's that's the day here in Branson, man. Working out, go to work, and then Walmart. Then you're back home, rinse and repeat.
mm,
Yeah, but I like it. It allows me to hone in on my craft. It does. And I really don't have any outside distractions. Even at the age of 55, I mean, I do have ants in my pants, Jackson. I'm somebody, as you can tell, I'm hyperactive. I like to get out there. I like to get stuff done, um, and I do it. So being in the fishbowl of this size, it's tough. They
mm,
all know me here in Branson, but again, I call Branson one big dysfunctional family.
mm.
That was something that I had to get used to, is everybody knowing each other's business and this and that. And where I'm from, you keep to yourself. No one wants to know your business. Here, they want to know everything.
Mm.
So that was a hard adjustment, but like I said, typically for the good. Even though you got your gossipers everywhere, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about the mindset of people in different areas, like you were talking about with the Philly people being a lot more hardcore on you. But I think it's like that's why they call it the city of brotherly love. Like
Oh yeah,
you're there and
yep,
people are just busting your balls all the time. You're like,
all
man,
the time.
these people are douchebags. Like, I hate these
Oh
guys.
yeah,
They do it
yeah.
because they know, and probably even like the harsh winters and stuff like
Oh,
that. You think about how you need the people around you and stuff like that. So they're
yeah.
doing that because they are developing a community in that area. It's like, hey, we need each other, but I'm gonna bust your balls every once in a while.
Oh, I had this guy, Fat Lou. That's all he would do. And Fat Lou, I mean, we're talking South Philly days. And again, when I even got older, when we moved into Jersey, we moved into Camden and then Pennsauken. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's South Jersey.
Mm,
It's right over the bridges. You have three major bridges. It would only take me 20 minutes to get back to my original block or Philly to the stadiums. It would take me about 25, 30 minutes. So I still hung out with the old crew. And this guy, Fat Lou, I mean, you talk about somebody that could break your balls harder than anybody. And he was a fat bastard. I mean, I'm telling you, but freaking he could run. the guy was quicker than anybody else on the block, man. And I mean, it was like, man, I'm going to get you one of these days. And I called him one day in the car. And we were going to Wildwood, New Jersey. It was a beach. And I was in the passenger seat in the front. And he was sitting in the back. And he wouldn't stop. So I dotted his I. He stopped there. He stopped after that one, but he just would run his mouth constantly. But that's how it is. You got to have thick skin. If you don't have thick skin, you're just gonna be done. You know, I moved out here, and I think the reason why I was embraced more than most, especially they call me a damn Yankee.
Mm.
And I said, well, what's the difference between a Yankee and a damn Yankee? I said, well, Yankees come here and they go back home. Damn Yankees come out here and stay. And I'm like, I'm a damn Yankee. I think I was more accepted with the community because of martial arts.
Mm.
I trained, you know, I had a contract with the State Highway Patrol, Sheriff's Department, local PD, in the local community with the kids' classes. Because I have a buddy of mine that owns a resort out here, Barry, and he's self-filling. He's like, they fucking hate me, Rick.
Mm.
I said, because they don't know you, Barry. You know what I mean? Once you get to know us, you know, we're likable people, but we just got, you know, our weird ways. You know, I never knew any different until I moved out here. I remember walking down the in Walmart, and a lady out of the blue just starts talking to me, which is, you know, people stay to themselves in Philly and Jersey for the most part. And I turn around, I'm like, are you talking to me? And she's like, well, yeah. I'm like, why? And she's like, you are rude. And I was like, yeah. Don't talk. I was being an asshole. I mean, she just wanted to, you know, and my buddy said to me one day, he goes, just smell the roses, Rick. What are you in such a rush for? You know, we were on the lake and we were going to go fishing. He stopped to talk to another guy. I'm like, are we going to go? He's like, we're out on the lake.
Yeah.
Fish. Just take it easy. And it kind of resonated. Mm. You're so busy to go nowhere. Just enjoy life a little bit. Be present, like you said, Jackson. That's what people really need, is to be present, because even when they're there, they're not. They're somewhere else. Yeah. They're in an argument with their significant other. They're at their job. They're, you know what I mean? There are a million places besides the place that they're in and absorbing that moment itself. And I think that's huge. And you brought that up. And that is, being present means so much. Embrace as much as you can. Get as much knowledge as you can out of that moment. Go on to the next.
Yeah, I was talking about this on another podcast with somebody, and it was Nick Saban, who was the coach of Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, he would say all the time, like, be where your feet are, because if you're thinking about, like, you know, if you're
write that down.
Yeah, if you're thinking about, you know, things in the future or things in the past, or just too much of anything else, and since he was a football coach, he coached the defensive backs. So a lot of times as a DB, you might be trying to guess where the wide receiver is going to go, and you're trying to cover them. But it's like, hey, just be where your feet are. Because if your feet are right here, you're going to struggle trying to get to where you're trying to go. So just focus on what you're doing right now, where your feet are, because if you can handle that, then you'll be able to handle the next step.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's so true. It really is. But again, we hear it, but do we apply it? I tell people all the time, you don't have an education issue, you have an application issue. You don't apply what you know. Apply what you know and see how that works out.
That's a really good phrase, because we could start a whole system full of people who have college degrees but don't have that job. And then that's a new career field, is like, all right, we teach people how to use their degree.
It's true. You nailed it right there. And, you know, you get a lot of people, and I'm not knocking them, but people that are in a very influential career, let's just say as a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, you know, a lot of people get involved in these careers for the money. Mm-hmm. They don't get in it for the passion. And that's where it means the most, you know, educating our kids. As a doctor, our lives are in your hands. Mm. And sometimes as attorneys, our lives are in your hands. So again, these are crafts that need to be more passion-based opposed to check-wise based.
Yeah,
And I say that all the time. You know the ones that are excelling in their craft to the ones that just did it for the paycheck. And that's a shame because, again, our lives are in our hands with our children or ourselves.
absolutely. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. I would like for you to basically just give everybody like, info of who you are, and how they
Sure.
can find you and all that good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. Rick Koenig. So Rick House sounds Rick. Koenig, Koenig. Koenig. Some people say Koenig. Koenig. You can find me on Facebook. If you're trying to find my website, or if you're going to search on YouTube, because I got a lifetime of material on YouTube, Jackson. It's Strength Dash Certified with an S.com. So strengthcertified.com. That's my website. That's my YouTube. And also you can find me on Instagram on that as well. And then on TikTok.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this. It's definitely been awesome hearing your story and just getting some information from you, knowledge, wisdom. You definitely been through a lot, and you seem like you're teaching everybody that you come in contact with, to make the most out of their life and to be the best. And hey, wake up at 2:30 a.m. And get some stuff done.
100% Jackson. And it was an honor, a pleasure. You're a great man. I can feel your energy even through the screen right here, man. Continue on what you're doing. You're changing lives. You're taking time out of your day to put individuals like me on your podcast, and the word will spread. It always does. I'm 100% confident in you. So nothing but good blessings for you, my brother.
Awesome. Right back at you. Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you for everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.